Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first Suikoden 2 interview. I am the Vision of Chaos, and today I'm joined by Phoenix Emrys, the voice of Rena, Lady Annabelle, and some NPCs here or there, I don't know. Welcome.
Howdy. Thanks for having me.
Now, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you've been voicing, and other than this project, and how you've been enjoying this project so far.
Okay, I'm in my 50s. I've been voice acting for about a year, just a little over a year. I've done a few things that I'm proud of, including this. I've been in a few games, and I've done some comic dubs, and the biggest thing I've been in to date, I guess, download volume-wise, was a recent mod for Skyrim called The Forgotten City, and that's kind of made a big splash out there in the cyber world. Last I heard, the downloads was approaching 80,000 for it, so yeah, not bad.
Yeah, the mod community in Skyrim is very big, and
yeah,
if you have a very good modder, then with a little bit renown, then yeah, the downloads will rise up quickly.
Well, this one is being touted as the mod by which all the mods in future are going to be measured by. So, yeah, it's made a bit of a splash. Yeah,
that's quite an accomplishment, or quite a statement.
Yeah. So it was.
And how did you how did you end up into voice acting and doing this basically?
Well, voice acting was something I kind of always wanted to do most of my life, but back in the 60s, when I first started getting, listening to I used to listen to the cartoons and notice the voices, and then I'd read credits. So I try and figure out who was doing what voice, because that was something that I enjoyed doing. And for a while there, I had a completely useless talent where if I was listening to a commercial and it was being voiced by a celebrity, I could say, "Oh, that's so and so," or that's and people would go, "Well, how do you know that?" I said, "Well, just listen to it. That's their voice." So you can't make any money doing that. But when I wanted to do this, the technology that we have now didn't exist. So I just went on and had a semi-normal life, doing everything else but this. And then about a year ago, well, it was a year ago, a friend of mine who said she was just, "I'm going to do voice acting." And I said, "Really? How?" And she's the one who introduced me to BTVA, and the rest is history.
Yeah, well, of course, there's also, actual, professional voice acting, but you have to basically know a little bit about connections and a little bit about the places where they record, because if you actually want to do professional work, you basically have to live near one of the great studios in order to be,
That's not so much anymore.
No, not so much anymore, but back then.
Back then, definitely. And
now it's still the case, just so that, because if you live near a studio, you're always fresh in their mind. That is still a case with professional voice acting. If you live nearby and you're available, you're readily available, and you have the connections a little bit, then you're still in the back of the mind of whoever is going to do casting.
Yes. Yes.
But for the internet, it's like the internet wasn't back around, back in the 60s or in the 80s.
And there's more niches as well. There's more, like, audiobooks didn't exist the way they did even a few years ago. I mean, that's a huge market now.
Yeah.
So you're not just limited to animation anymore.
Yep. Now I know one guy who kind of now does, aside from his own channel, he does audiobooks, in order for a living, in order to basically sustain his, lifestyle. So yeah, and he used to do For My Twilight Princess voice acted. He did a few roles.
Well, I've got one. I've booked one audiobook where I'm actually going to get paid royalties for it. So that's
okay.
I've got my.
So you're actually going to do paid work.
Yes, I am.
Okay, and we're back. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of technical difficulties or internet breakup. You didn't stop recording, did you?
No, I didn't. Yeah.
Okay. So you've gotten more connections through doing voice acting, from BTVA and Casting Call Club. More directors, more paid work, or just the audiobook?
So far, just the audiobook. I'm finding now that people are not professional, but people are contacting me now if they have a specific part and they've heard my voice. I've done enough work that I guess they listen to me and go, "Oh, I like her." So I'm getting more people contacting me. Not on the professional echelon yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, if you voice more and people pick up your voice, then you get, more contact and more because people like your work,
Well, I sort of got the old lady market sewed up in certain sectors, but
Indeed. And
I'm particularly getting calls from people who are voicing animes who want someone to do the mature character. So I'm doing a lot of old ladies there. Yes.
Yeah. And it's a little bit weird. Did you did audition for my project, right?
Yes, I did.
It's so long ago, I don't even remember who auditioned and who I contacted through, because a lot of, is indirect and a lot of is via BTVA or casting call.
I remember auditioning for yours. I originally auditioned for Barbara and Hannah. And that's you
true.
called me, you messaged me back and said, "You okay with this? They're really small parts." And I said, "Well, sure, yeah." And then you told me about Annabelle.
Yeah, and you didn't end up voicing Hannah because I didn't.
You didn't go there.
I didn't end up including her, because she's just another side character out of the hundreds of side characters that this game has. And how was your experience, with my process and when you got to voice Barbara and when you got to voice Annabelle? What was your experience like with this project so far?
So far, it's been really good, mainly because you're actually producing something. Hello. I'm very encouraged by you send these lines away. I've heard project owners bitching about people, voice actors going away, but it's equally annoying to put all this work and effort into sending away lines and doing them and sending them away and then never hearing again. They just go out into oblivion. I've got literally over 100 projects that I've done stuff on, and I would say less than a third of them have returned a finished result. And that's a lot of work to do for nothing.
Yeah, that happens a lot on BTVA, right?
So, number one, you're actually producing something. It's very high quality. The result, I'm very impressed with the quality of it, and so far it's been a positive experience, very positive.
Okay, could you give me like 5 minutes because I'm breaking up here.
Oh, he's still there?
I am still here, I think, but I'm late and I'm breaking up.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, well, I'm gonna see how it goes. Am I back?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Shitty internet sometimes, You know what, I'm going to open my door. Let's get the Wi-Fi in here.
Yeah.
That's not how Wi-Fi works, but whatever.
We'll keep telling ourselves that.
Indeed. Yeah, I'm actually producing. I'm very indeed proud that even though that we had some hiccups, especially with Victor,
Oh God, that's so funny. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it's.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, just this one character seems cursed in this thing. Poor you keep having to replace him, and then you just get a good one. It's like what? It's funny. Who's going to be Victor this week? It's almost a running joke.
Well, at this point, I think Andrew, the current Victor, he doesn't want to quit. So
that's good.
At this point, I think he will. Excuse me. Sorry. I think he will stick it out.
Well, that's good. That's good.
It's kind of sad though. I really enjoyed Victor Kane, especially in that last episode.
The one who did it with me?
Yeah, the one
Yeah,
who did it with
he
you,
was
yeah,
good.
that
He
lad.
was good. Yeah, he was good. It's kind of like that was a really that one scene where he comes and brings her the wine. I'm reading this thing going, shit, this is really sweet. And I was not expecting it because it was at the time when I started doing this with you, I had virtually no experience of games whatsoever, so I didn't even really understand what this was. And starting to follow the story, it's surprisingly engrossing. If you watch it from the very beginning and treat it like a movie, okay, there's one or two things where it kind of goes because of the writing maybe isn't at times all absolutely the best, but the story is surprisingly engaging and the characters are surprisingly well delineated as well. So you can watch it like a movie. It's not like that Kingdom Hearts thing where the cutscenes make no sense whatsoever. That doesn't.
Yeah.
There's everybody's doing this thing. They're doing dubs of this Kingdom Hearts, and I just don't get it because it's goofy, if you'll pardon the expression. But this
It has Goofy in it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but this thing makes sense. It's got a good story. It's got good characters, and so when I got up to doing this scene with Victor, and I was like, oh my God. So I sort of pulled out the stops a little bit for that one because I think it deserved a little extra treatment because it was very special.
That it's one of my favorite scenes actually. The scene with you and Victor, and then the scene between Annabelle and Joey, and then the last death scene of Annabelle. Those are some of my favorite scenes right there in the entire game, and especially now that they're voiced. I'm like, at that point, I'm like, I didn't care because that Victor Kane, who did the voice of Victor at that point, left, because when he left out that door, when he left with Annabelle, it was just such a perfect goodbye for him. It was like, see you later. Like,
yeah, if you're gonna go out,
maybe I'm not perfect, but yeah, like that's basically his line. Like, you're perfect enough, but maybe I'm not. Talk to you later. And he's like. Yeah. Waving his hand, like showing the back of his hand, like goodbye, and like, this is perfect. I don't care if he never voiced it again. It was his own choice to do so. I can understand, because how demanding Victor is as a role. But yeah, that was perfect.
It was, which is why I'm kind of really sort of feeling let down because there seems to be so little consequences for the character having been killed off. I mean, they mention her now and again, but even I'm looking at the Victor on the other side and said, well, you don't seem very broken up about the fact that Annabelle's gone. Like, geez,
You're not going to like the middle of Act 4. You're not going to like it.
Probably
You're not going to like it at all. Because you will see some of what basically Annabelle tried to prevent. The worst case scenario is going to happen in Act 4.
Well, I'm kind of intrigued with Joey popping up again. Like, where the little scumball's been all this time. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Joey has, he has killed Annabelle, and he has gained his favor in order to be part of the royal tent. I mean, that has to have some, power, involved right there, that he is allowed into, the king's tent. So I don't know what happened there, why he's allowed into the king's tent, but...
well, he must have gone there. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
What is it? Yeah, let's speculate. What do you think is going to happen to Joey, and what do you think, his motivations are? You don't like Joey as a character at this point because he
not
kills
particularly.
Off your character.
No.
Well, so let's speculate.
He's put himself out in front. Which is not very clever if he's working undercover. You don't volunteer to do something that's against your core belief, unless you've got a very clever plan. So he's volunteered to be the head of this next thing that's what's the name of the town that he's supposed to take over? I don't remember.
Green Hill.
Green Hill. Yeah. And we saw what happened to the last guy who didn't do it. So unless he's got a real good reason for what he's doing, Joey's a scumbag. That he's sort of, or he's stupid. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. So if he actually leads that thing against, because he's going against Rio, right? Is that how
he is going against? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna be two brothers against one another. Yeah. But why? I mean, if the why, that'll be the interesting part. The why. Is he really a traitor? Is he figuring that somehow he's going to get the army up there and then turn them in or something? That'd be interesting to see. Well, he's going to have to pull some sort of rabbit out of his hat if he's really a good guy.
I don't know if you could call him a traitor, because he would have had loyalties to the city-state, and I don't think Joey has ever had any loyalty to the city-state.
These guys, Joey and Rio, they started out as Highland people, right?
As Highland people,
yeah.
Yes.
So Joey's home, in other words.
Yeah, basically, Joey is home right now.
Yeah.
So he may be a traitor to Hannibal, but he's not a traitor to his homeland.
Gotcha. Okay. But our sympathies as the player are on the side of Ryu and company, right? We're rooting for them to win. Yes?
Yeah, but that's mostly because Lord Luca, the prince, he is basically massacring everyone. He is the instigator for everything. We know what happened. He is the cause of everything that has happened so far. He has caused all the death, and that is basically what we're going against.
But he's also leading the Highland Army, so that makes him the bad guy. That makes the Highland Army the bad guy.
Exactly. Right. He's the one leading the Highland Army, and that's why Highland is currently the bad guy, in all this story. Because we know that if Lord Luca wins, and he is still in command at that point, and he will massacre everyone. Right. He is not the one to show mercy to anyone.
And Joey is supporting this, or seeming to support it.
He's seeming to support it, yes.
But he has to know that this army that he's leading is going against his friends. He doesn't know Rio is the leader, probably, but he knows Rio's in that lot. Everybody that he supposedly was fighting with before.
Yeah. Well, I think from at least in Act 4, it is very clear that Joey knows that Rio is the leader. When we meet Joey in Act 4 in Green Hill, because we're going there next, we'll meet him there. At that point, he knows that Ryu is the leader of the Allied army.
I gotta say, I'm not finding this writing quite as good going forward. The story's not quite as... I don't know if I don't know what it is. It's not quite as engaging as it was before. It doesn't suck, but it's not quite as good.
I still like the story. There is of course the RPG, just the setup. You have to basically, for every RPG you have to suspend your suspension of disbelief in order to follow it. That's for every RPG, and this RPG is probably one of the best stories, with the most coherent stories, because it's like a war story, and what happens is pretty realistic, although there are some points where you're like, okay, yeah, this is just RPG nonsense, But every RPG has that, and for this one, this has very little of it, At least in my opinion, it has very little of it. Because, most of it is, oh, there's a vampire. Oh, we're now in an Act 4 at the beginning, we're going to school. For no reason, so it's yeah. There are some points where you're like, oh, okay, this is RPG, we'll have to accept it because it's an RPG. It's in Skyrim, it's the same. Even though Skyrim is high fantasy with medieval style, there are still dragons, and you're still oh, you're the chosen one and you have all these powers, you still have to fucking believe that.
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit But anyway,
and
yeah.
and still all these like major leaders are going to come to you in order for them to solve your problems. That's the same thing in Skyrim. Like, it's not realistic, you know. And
Yeah.
if you're going to be part of an RPG, you kind of have to accept that it's not the most realistic story ever.
Yeah, I kind of the point where I was with them and it was making sense to me until they made Ryu the leader. Then that's when I went, yeah, okay, now we're officially back in a game. That's what broke the thing, the third wall or whatever you want to call it for me. Because up until then it'd been a really good story and it made sense. But now Ryu is the leader. I'm like, whack.
Ryu is not really the leader. Just letting you say that Ryu is not really a leader. Ryu will never command everything. Ryu will never really voice his opinion because he's a silent protagonist. Mm-hmm. Ryu is a symbol. He's a symbol for the player, and he's a symbol for the allied army. He is whatever hero, you know, for the people. He's like, oh, this guy, he can do everything, you know. He can unite people. He can, do everything. He can beat the Highland army. He is just a symbol. In fact, Ryu probably doesn't have the power to unite people, but making others believe that Ryu has this kind of power is already, is a part of Shu's strategy, probably. Are you still there?
Yes, I is. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's a vessel for the player, and he's also a symbol for the people, basically. He's a symbol of hope. He's a young man. He isn't afraid of anything, basically. So in the end, Shu is doing everything behind the scenes, you know?
That makes more sense to me, yeah.
Shu has Victor basically be in control of the main army, you know, of the command forces, along with Flick and whoever else. Ryu is just there as the figurehead, basically. Like, the man behind, oh, this is the guy we're campaigning for, you know? Mm-hmm. It's like basically the election. Oh, this is the fucking leader of our country, but, he's part of this party, you know? Like, I don't know how it works. For America, it's different, but for us, in my country, it's like, the leader is just whatever figurehead it is, and he's not really, his entire party, you know? All those other people are his party, you know?
Yeah, we do it the same in Canada. We have the nominal, the titular prime minister, who is the leader of the government. But we don't vote for the prime minister. We vote for our representative, and if he gets more guys than the other guy, then he's the leader.
Yeah, exactly. And basically, Ryu is the prime minister.
Okay.
You could see like that, basically. Ryu is the prime minister. He's not there to be the actual leader. He's just there to voice whatever, or speeches or whatever, be like, oh, I am the man, because people need someone to look up to and blame things on, or to look up to.
Well, that makes more sense to me, because basically up until this point he'd been a kid, and saying, oh, he's the great leader, I kind of went, okay, I wish you hadn't done that, but anyway, I accept it's a game and it has to happen, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are multiple people's, there's one character who's like, I wish you hadn't done that, and that's Nanami.
Oh.
Nanami doesn't like it at all, to be fair.
Yeah.
And she's voiced that a couple of times, and she will voice it a couple of times in the future.
But she's kind of dropped out of the story. We've hardly seen her at all in the last couple of episodes.
Yep.
She's gone away.
Yep. She will be a part for the beginning of Act 4 in the school segment, because she's going to go with. Mm-hmm. Then she's going to basically fade to the background until Act 6.
Oh, okay.
Where Act 6 is her major, I am no longer happy with how this is, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So I'm definitely intrigued to see how the whole Joey thing is going to work its way out. But,
I could always tell you, but if you want, no, that's spoiling. Yeah, it's we are now at the tail end of Act 3. So, did you enjoy Act 1, 2, and 3? What did you think of the acts? as they went by?
Well, I think Act 2 was definitely my favorite.
Well, yeah, the end of Act 2 with the death of Lady Annabelle.
Mm-hmm. But it's been quite an interesting progression so far. There's like I said, something that I thought was I mean, I initially just sort of jumped on because I didn't know anything about the game, and I was at that point, I just was auditioning for everything just to get voice acting experience. And I quite, like I said, I watch it when for entertainment, because I think it is quite entertaining. I've enjoyed the story a lot.
And now, of course, after Act 4, you will have nothing left to voice because you now have some NPCs in Act 4 and you have already voiced the end of Rena's lines, you know, so... And you've also voiced, like, the one line that Barbara has because... And I've already made you voice that.
Yeah,
because,
well, and I'll just have to be another one of the receptive audience, but that's
yeah,
the way
exactly.
it goes.
So after Act 4 is over, you will have nothing left to voice because, like, only, like, in Act 6 are the last lines of Rena and Barbara, which you've already voiced at this point.
Right, so I've done them, but they haven't... I see what you're saying. I've done them, but they haven't come up?
No, they're not... The last few lines that you've already voiced for Rena, and for, like, the last line for Barbara is not until Act 6.
Are you kidding me? I did Barbara, like, almost a year ago.
Yeah, I know.
So you've had that hanging in your... Oh, my God, that's funny.
That one line, yeah.
Oh my goodness, son of a gun.
Like, to be fair, when I let you voice Rena's last line, I thought, oh, Rena is for Act 5. But no, it's not until Act 6 until she voices those lines. It's like, I thought this was like Act 5, but nope, no.
Well, that just means I don't have any more work to do. Ha ha ha.
No. And how do you feel about that? Like your experience overall, like voicing and having looking forward to like seeing the end of the story and having nothing left to voice for.
It's kind of weird because there's not actually very many projects that I've done that I have done the complete thing. It will be nice to see it all wrapped up, but yeah, it
will still take a half a year, I think.
Oh, that's not
like
a problem.
at least until May, I think. At least until May. Yeah, May, at least.
Well, you know, there's no rush or anything. You're very consistent in your output, and I guess most of the people that are still involved with it are fairly dedicated. So they've been only the Victor glitch has been taken care of.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah,
finally.
So
well, I had to recast another few people, but yeah, it's like the Victor glitch was the most prominent one, you know. And then, well, of course, the last two questions. Do you have any questions for me so far, like for the entire project?
What made you so interested in doing this?
Well, I was very interested in doing this. Like, I already tried doing a voice actor Let's Play at some point, but that was kind of a miserable failure. And I wanted to do, like, with that experience, I wanted to do something more. And I wanted to do my favorite game, which was, like, Twilight Princess, like, my favorite Zelda game. And when I saw, like, when I played and saw, I actually watched a Let's Play of Suikoden 2 before this, and I'm like, this is like a good story and like one of the like best RPG stories I've seen, at least, you know, for storytelling purposes.
And I don't know if anyone else is doing it other than you.
No, I don't know. I've seen some people doing visual novels, like visual noveling voice acting, but not like game like this, like an RPG. No one has done that. Visual novels are very popular. And now, at this current play, there's another game that's very popular in the voice acting scene, which is called Undertale. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I don't know that one. No.
No, it's also like an RPG, but a very different RPG, a very quirky RPG. And everyone, basically, there's a lot of projects going up for that, because it's a very popular game at this point. Yeah, besides from me doing this, no, I don't think anyone has done this before me. At least not a full game. I know that there's a fucking forum site called Zelda Universe, which has done another game as well, and they're now doing a full movie thing from another game called Skyward Sword. So I will see how that is, but like that kind of seems to me like a big circle jerk. Like, oh, they're only like casting the people that they have connections with, which you know will bring in a lot of viewers. I'm like, yeah, that's not how I operate.
Gotcha.
It's like,
yeah.
even if I would know like all these people with high subscribers, that's not how I operate. You know, like I wouldn't favor these people just because they have a high subscriber count or just because I know them. You know, like that's kind of sees how like the casting, and at least for me when I see the casting, like, oh, this guy, he has this kind of subscriber count, and this girl, oh, she has like, oh, one of the like people in Zelda universe. So yeah, they're just casting based on whoever, you know, they know basically. But yeah, no, besides from that, I've not seen this. I've been like, or at least I've seen them, but I've not seen them finished basically before me, like except for visual novels. Because there is another guy called Tyranny, Tyranny Let's Lops. He does this basically with visual novels.
Ah.
And yeah, kind of what made me decide to do this game is because I've like been like a tier guy. I've been into tier like for years. I've not done it for 2 years now. I'm a little bit out of it, but I grew up, you know, basically doing theater. And I've been trying to write stories, but I'm not, you know, a great story writer, you know? It's not... I have some stories in my mind, but I cannot never, you know, sit down and write, I don't know.
Writing is not as easy as people think it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's not, I don't think it's for me. I will probably get back to it at some point, but yeah, no, I think this is a great outlet for me. When I started doing Let's Plays, I think, like, I wanted to do, you know, be, you know, more of an outlet for myself. And this is a great way to tell the stories that I want to tell, basically.
Uh-huh.
And this is, of course, a great story to tell, even though it has its RPG problems.
Well, it's still engaging enough that well, I was quite surprised to find as I was watching this thing and progressing along with it that I was starting to care about these characters, these little pixelated pixie things dancing across my screen. I'm like, oh no, yeah.
I've actually, besides from the last question, I have another question for you. What do you think of my character?
Oh, he's quite
or my acting in general.
I think it's what you're doing suits that type of character very well. The delivery is very very economical, very he's a focused character. He's very disciplined, and I'm getting that feeling in the sound, the way your speech patterns and the way you're delivering the words. It suits it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. It is very tough and very economical.
Yeah, well, you're definitely getting that across in the way you're delivering the lines.
And very, like, not very prone to show an emotion.
No, not at all.
Even though the coin scene.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Anyway, the last question, of course, is what are you currently doing, and have you got something to plug? You know, like anything you wish to plug, basically anything that you've done, anything like you've basically started at the beginning, but as well, but like basically like where can people find you, and what have you like done? Like where can people find the stuff that you've done?
Okay, one of these days, it hasn't happened yet, I'm going to get my shit together and get some stuff up on my YouTube channel. Right now, one of the biggest things I have coming out is some friends of mine I've got together, and we're doing a full dub of Assault on Arkham, in which I'm playing Amanda Waller. And the prologue,
is that a comic?
it's a movie. it's
A movie.
a movie. It's an animated movie. The whole deal. The prologue and the last scene and one of the scenes are already on YouTube, and they're just it's a Batman thing, okay?
Yeah.
And it's the quality of the editing is just absolutely astronomical. So that one hopefully will be coming up soon. We're not sure where it's going to end up because the way YouTube is being about copyright stuff now. So we don't know if it's...
Yeah, no, that's what I kind of was like, isn't Warner Bros. Heavy on the copyright?
Yeah.
Like,
one thing that I do...
Everything Batman is Warner Bros. So
Yeah,
it's
pretty
like
much.
Warner Bros. Is heavy on the copyright, especially even for those Arkham games, you know.
Yeah.
They're heavy on the copyright strikes. So like, doesn't he have any problems with that? But
Not so
probably
far because
does.
he's only put up a little bits, like only a couple of minutes worth. But I don't know if the whole thing is going to make it. So I haven't heard.
That's the problem with dubs in general, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a dub for a pre-existing license, I'm lucky actually that Suikoden 2. Like Konami has been very iffy on copyright as well lately, and like Suikoden 2, only like the trailer episode for that very beginning intro scene has been like hit, and nothing else. Like I'm very lucky for that.
Yeah, I'm doing a. Well, it's already been all voiced. The person, I'm not sure if it's a he or a she, is going to be. It's based on the Skyrim. Oblivion Machinama, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, Machinama. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a series that he's doing, and I took over the character. It's Elder Scroll Theater is the name of the YouTube channel. I took over. The first 3 episodes are out, and he contacted me and had me take over the voicing of the character Melisande, and that. Episode 4 is up now, and so that's the one that I did. So there's
Melisande.
Melisande is
Melisandre.
Melisande, Melisande, Melisande. Yeah.
Melisande. Okay. Usually it's like Melisandre, but no, not Melisande.
No, there's no RE on the end. And
No RE.
So I've done all the lines for the character, like it is complete. So I've done all the work, and he will be releasing them as we go. So that one's ongoing, and that one is on YouTube right now. It's episode 4, and the rest of them are mostly. I'm doing a comic dub for the new 52 right now. That there's 2 issues online now for that. There's so much out there. Like I said, I've got to. Well, so much of it has sort of gone out there and it's not come back. So it's hard to remember the stuff that's... Oh, I just finished doing... it's not on YouTube. The links for it where you can go and listen to it, I just finished and she's got it done. I did a Old Sophie in the Howl's Moving Castle, so that's completed. That's...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
House Moving Castle.
Yeah.
A dub? Just...
A dub,
Where can they find it?
There's... She's done a little trailer with links. It's not that's on YouTube.
No, that's not on YouTube. That will be taken down instantly, probably.
All she did was say, "Hi, it's done. Look for the links to the site where it is in the description." So it's just a little trailer thing, and so it's on a site called SendVid or something like that. But the where you can get to it is on YouTube. Okay. Just trying to... Here it is. I've got it. The Aspiring Singer 15. That's her channel. Just how it sounds.
Yeah. Just link me that and later, and then I will put it in the description.
Sure.
This video.
Okay. Right, that's the link.
I personally like Spirited way better.
I'm not familiar with that. I'll get you the one I was talking about for...
It's by the same creator, basically, by the same artist.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that will get you to where the, whatchamacallit is. Oh, the Purgatorians. I almost forgot about that. That's an original series that will be coming out in time for Christmas. And there's a bunch of very, very fine voice actors who anyone who's part of the voice acting community will probably recognize a lot of them. I'm a part of that as well. That will be very interesting when it finally comes out. Okay, this is the one for... I'm used to talking to myself a lot. Okay, this is the one... Yes. This is the one for...
Where am I right now?
I don't know. the Skyrim one I was talking about, Melisande. So that's her link.
Mm-hmm.
And anything else I can find? Get back to this.
I will just put them all in the description of this video.
Do you want the Arkham one?
Sure.
Okay, because that's kind of fun. Not to. Well, the quality of this thing is just unbelievable. I mean, this guy. No, really, the guy who's doing the editing on this thing, he stripped everything out and he put it all back in. He put all the voices in. He went and he found the soundtrack and he did all the sound effects are all him. You know, it's crazy the amount of work he's done on this thing. If I can find it.
Psst, I've done that for Suikoden.
Yes.
I've done that for every episode of Suikoden.
Well, then you know how much work it is. It's just that compared to a lot of the fan dubs that I've seen, this goes way up, way up there.
I didn't do that for Twilight Princess, but I've done that for Suikoden. Just stripped all the audio, the original audio in there, and just remade sound effects and re-added the music.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of respect for people who are competent and talented in the technical aspects of things, because I'm sure there's hours and hours and hours and hours of work that, not that it's not work to sit in front of a microphone and do our bit, but when we're done and it goes to you guys and you take it and make something amazing out of it,
even if there's something that I don't know, I usually ask Brendan, because he actually does a study for sound design, so he's like my advisor for everything sound. If I don't know anything, like, Brendan, can you help me with this?
Whoa. So this is the...
Anyway, while you're looking for that, do you have any last remarks about the project? Usually I also ask, like, what do you think of me as a director, but we're going on.
You're hard but fair. No.
Yes, that's what I hear a lot.
Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. If you care about what you're doing, whatever you're doing, you need to grow. So the only way you grow is by pushing yourself. Once you reach a level, then you push a little more and you push a little more, and it's really easy to get complacent, and that's when you get lazy, and that's when you get not so good. So I like it if somebody says to me, you know what, you can do that better. Yeah, you're right, I can. Okay. Yeah, and so you do it. Nobody in the history of anybody doing anything is so good that they can't stand to improve a little or learn. That's what I think.
Of course. Well, thank you for joining me on this interview. We're going to end off the recording. You're going to link me everything that you are doing.
Okay.
I've been the Vision of Chaos. Me. Yes. Thank you for joining me in this interview.
You're welcome, and bye.